What up, play hairs? I'm just vlogging, working on the fire. It's kind of a weird setup at our place because we only get a couple bags of trash every week, and if we exceed that, we have to pay extra, which we usually don't even come close. Like we barely only have like a bag of trash a week. Which I never thought was weird, but I noticed a lot of people always have a lot more bags of trash. Hopefully I'm not stirring up some controversy. But one of the things we do is we have this basket here in our kitchen, kind of near the trash. So if we have something that's not recyclable but burnable, that's usually like paper and cardboard. We get a lot of papers from school and stuff. I'm sure all you parents know. We just put it in that basket, but I usually do it every Sunday out in the yard. We have like a little burn barrel. And since we're by the woods, we usually get from windstorms, like sticks fall down into the yard and stuff, and I guess we'll use those sticks sometimes in the house, but we'll have little campfires out in the summer or something like that. And but we burn this stuff sometimes with the fire, just hanging out on a weekend or something, or in the winter I just put it in the burn barrel and burn it. But I usually do it on Sunday, and it's Thursday now, so not only do I have that basket, but this box is full. Some of this is Christmas stuff. The schedule's been a little weird, so I figured I'd just work on that. So it takes a while because this is so small. The burn barrel out in the yard, I kind of just dump it in and light it, and it's a huge fire for like 10 seconds because it's paper, and then it just goes away. But sometimes it piles up too, like in the summer, like in August, it'll get dry, and we have a lot of pine trees, so I don't want to start a forest fire or something. But that's just one thing, because this is like 3 bags of trash, so I don't know, it's just something to do. So I figured I'd work on that while I'm talking to you guys, and it takes longer and it makes a lot more ash, but it's like once a year I take the burn barrel and I just take it over to the woods and just dump the ash in the woods, and that's it. But it's probably gonna fill it up, and I'm gonna have to empty it. But like I said, it is what it is. But my chair always is squeaky when I'm doing the fires. I feel like it's really squeaky. Today was, I wouldn't say as good as yesterday, but it was better than it's like the second best day. Yesterday was like my best day. Sorry, this lighting is super bad. That's what I got. So I slept pretty decent. Not last night, but the night before. I slept almost the entire night, but I woke up once throughout the night, which I think used to happen. I don't really know, but I know for a while when I first started vlogging, I kept having bad dreams a lot, and I was kind of telling you guys about them. But I just realized, hang on one second. Need my little poker, my shovel. We have this, I don't know, yeah, you can see it. This thing here, there's little fireplace tools, and we pretty much only use that one, the shovel. I don't know why I did it this way, but that's what I needed. But yeah, so I think when that was happening, I would wake up at least once throughout the night. One thing about the wood burners, though, when you burn the paper, it makes a lot of ash. I mean, you just shovel it out and put it in the bucket or whatever, but it's just a big box of steel. So like in the spring and fall, sometimes instead of burning the paper outside, I'll just burn it in here because the fire goes out, but the wood burner itself, it stays hot and radiates heat, which is what's nice. So I can really feel it right now because the paper burns hot, it just doesn't burn very long. Anyways, yeah, so in the hospital I didn't sleep good, and Sunday night, late Sunday is when we came back from the hospital, and didn't sleep very well that night. I wasn't tired at first, so I was up kind of late. I was trying to sleep in my bed, and I couldn't get comfortable, and Kimmy was all anxious because of what she went through on her side. So I decided to just try and let her sleep. I set up shop in the spare room where we have our video game set up. We have a futon in there. Incredibly uncomfortable futon because I've got it for free like in college. So I kind of set up shop in there, and I've just been sleeping in there because it has a TV, and Mythbusters is on YouTube, like all the episodes, so I kind of just been rewatching all those. I kind of forgot how cool they were. But so that's been nice. I don't have to like bother her, and she can get better sleep. But I didn't sleep well Sunday night or Monday night. Today's Thursday. So Tuesday night, I slept probably the best I had slept. I think I fell asleep pretty early, and that's when I was still having trouble talking. And I realized too, the anxiety was also partially triggered by the lack of sleep. So it was easier for me to just sleep in there as well. But I could, sorry guys. What was I saying? I slept good Tuesday night, but I woke up in the middle of the night. So I fell asleep, I think around 8 or 9. I think I woke up around 3, and I was up for about an hour, and I fell back to sleep and woke up probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and which is usually when the girls get up and stuff too. So, I was able to be a part of all that and whatnot. So, last night, and you guys saw the vlog yesterday. A lot of you guys had reached out too. I was like, dude, I'm glad you're talking better and all that stuff. So, yeah, I slept good. But then last night, it was kind of the same. I fell asleep pretty early. I'm pretty tired right now, and I think it's probably 7 or 7:30. Which actually, we just got done eating dinner. My sister brought food over, and we ate, and we got to talk with her for a little bit, and that was nice. I never hang out with my sister, so probably because she's a giant dork. But no, just kidding. I don't know if she watches this or not. We'll find out. But no, it was cool to hang out with her and all that. And I got off subject. Do I normally do this? I think I do. But last night I fell asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night. I woke up around 2 or 3 again, and I want to kind of focus on that because I only got one hand. I don't want to burn the other one, you know what I mean? And this is probably flammable. So if I ever need a torch, I can just be sick. So I fell asleep, and I had a bad dream, and I wouldn't say a bad dream, but it wasn't a good dream. But then I woke up at like 2 or 3. I was up for about an hour, and I fell back asleep. And then I woke up to my phone ringing, and I forgot. It was like 8:20, and I forgot my mom said she was going to pick me up at 8:30, because she had to take her car to the shop to get the oil changed, and there's a restaurant across the street, so we were gonna just drop her car off and walk over, eat breakfast, and come back and pick up her car. And when I woke up, it was 8:20, and I was like, oh crap. So I got up, and the girls they were already up, but they were having their own issues. Maybe this is just blurry because it's dirty. That looks worse now. Whoops. Hold on. I just realized my screen's kind of dirty. Maybe it's a little better. I don't know. So there was like that, and then my mom was late, which kind of worked out for me because I woke up, so I fell asleep. Kimmy didn't put wood on the fire, so the fire was dead. So it was cold in the house. I think it was like the thermostat in the hallway said it was, I think 60. And then the kitchen, I think, as you guys know, is always colder. We have a little thermometer in there that tells the inside temperature and the outside temperature. But the kitchen's always colder because it has the tile and the granite, or I don't think it's granite, but it's like, a hard countertop. And there's a lot of windows. So it's always significantly colder now. I think it said it was like 56. But and then we dropped the car off to the shop, and then we ate breakfast. That was a little harder because my mom, I didn't realize, my mom was a big part of everything. So she eventually got a call after I was injured, and I think I was being rushed to the hospital. She was I think she said she was at the hardware store, and so there was nothing really she could do, so they were just like, finish up, and then we need you to go. She was telling me her side of it, which it was interesting I wanted to know her side of the story, but I also didn't realize how much it affected her, and obviously it's my mom. With everything going on, I didn't even think about it. I was so worried about my kid, because she witnessed everything. It was just me and her when I got injured. I don't know if I said that or not. Which she's doing okay as well. But it was just hard at breakfast. We were there, you usually sit down at a restaurant for like an hour or so. I think we were there for almost 2 hours. Because she didn't really hear my full version of the full version of the story for me. And then she shared her side, and so that's why we were there so long. But then so she was at the hardware store. She finished checking out. She said she had to get gas because we had to go all the way to the city to the hospital. And where she was in between where we live in the city, way closer to us. But so she had to kind of backtrack to go to get Lily, my daughter, take her to my sister's, who's even further from the city, and then she came to the city to the hospital. So she was kind of freaking out the whole time, and then she was with my dad, and she dropped off my dad to it's my wife's car, our car. We share a car. It was she was out to lunch with her friend, and then after lunch, her friend, Kimmy's friend, so I'm talking about Kimmy now, after lunch, Kimmy was going to go to the grocery store, and she was like, do you want to just come with me and we can hang out longer? And she said, sure. And that's when Kimmy got the call. She was in the middle of the grocery store. She had like a cart half full of stuff. So Kimmy, and it was lucky it worked out that way because Kimmy's friend drove Kimmy. Kimmy's my wife, in case none of you know. I think most of you know, but her friend drove her to the hospital. So her car was where they were eating lunch, which was in a totally different location. So I think my mom was at the hardware store. She got gas. She went to where our car was. So my dad could take it to our house, and my mom also came to my house, picked up my dad and my daughter, took Lily to my sister's house, and then came to the hospital. But then she was telling me all the things that she was thinking and going through, and that she was still feeling anxious and stuff like I was. So I was able to kind of tell her, you know, how I was feeling, and after she told me how she was feeling and stuff, so I think it made her feel better. Which is good, because my family never really communicated that great. Kimmy's family never communicated very great either, but much better than mine. So you know, Kimmy and I have been married for, it'll be 13 years this year. So it's something we've been working on and gotten a lot better at. But we've all been working on it, right? I think that's probably why my sister and I, we're not on bad terms or anything. They have their own life. I mean, she's married and has, you know, her family, and I have mine, you know, and whatnot. So, but I think it's unfortunate this had to happen because of it, but I feel like we've all been communicating a bit better, because sharing our feelings like this, we've never really would have done before. We're just very, like, at least my family, we're very focused. Like, my dad, when he got his hip replaced, the doctors told him he needed to be active, but he's just like, he's seeing it as like, I have whatever it was, a week or two off from work. I got to get stuff done around the house. Like, that's just how we are. So it was the same thing for me. Like, you guys saw, like, I don't even remember posting in between surgeries Saturday night. You know? Like, I made a joke about the first wrap I was in. This is still wrapped, it's not a cast, but I made a joke. I don't really remember doing it. And then I had a video in my drafts about the Create, Don't Destroy videos I was doing. And then, I mean, like, Sunday, it's like, you know, I just had 2 surgeries, and I'm just thinking, like, okay, like, I'm not going to be depressed that I can't record my album how I was going to. How can I do it now? You know what I mean? And that's just how I think my dad was too, with his hip replacement. But this time with me, it's like my dad's hip replacement wasn't like life-threatening. Not that it's not painful or hard or anything, but it's like a standard thing. And like, I almost lost my life. So it's like, I think that hit everybody. You know what I mean? So, it was just another positive thing, I would say, that came out of the bad situation, you know. And my mother and I talked about that too a lot, of just all the good that's come out of it, you know. Sorry, I wasn't getting choked up. I had to cough. But you know, I mean, like, when I got injured, you know, I hit an artery, so I had, like, I was in Boy Scouts, and I got my first aid merit badge, and I took various first aid certifications and things just for different jobs or whatever throughout my life. So I had an understanding, you know, like, I think that part of what saved my life, you know what I mean? There was a lot of things, you know, because I couldn't find my phone. I know I kind of told a story. I don't know if it made sense, and I don't know what I told, because my memory's been crazy with all the meds. So sorry if I'm repeating myself, but without getting off subject, we talked about that. Like, because I had some of that training, I knew I hit an artery, and I knew that my time was I had limited time to not only get the bleeding under control, but to let someone know, because I was here with my kid, and my kid is young, and she's like, she doesn't know. I'm just yelling the F word, trying to find my phone, and all of a sudden I'm like, you have to go get the neighbor, daddy's hurt, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy for a kid. So, but her whole life, you know, like when there's some sort of emergency, or if something came up or something, we would kind of like, hey, you know, like, this happened, and mommy and daddy reacted this way because this is a serious thing. But we live in a time, in a society, that there is help. And when something like this happens, this is what you do. Like, we've always made sure she knows our phone numbers, and that she knows how to dial 911, and that she knows it's okay to not be polite, and to make noise, and to get people's attention when you need to in an emergency. And that's exactly what she did. You know what I mean? So, like, that was a good thing. And the training I had was a good thing. And that, like, I have good neighbors. Like, my neighbor came over, and I was holding my wrist to stop the bleeding. And he came over and immediately just started helping me. And at that point, I had found my phone. I had 911 on the phone. And she was on speakerphone. And I realized, once my neighbor kind of took over talking to her, because I'm just like, you know, first I was focused on not passing out without anyone knowing, and then the bleeding, and then at one point I was worried when my neighbor came over. I was like, where's Lily? I was like, she ran over in her socks. Like, did she change her socks? And it's like, I'm being like a dad, and it's like, she's wet socks are the last thing we gotta fucking worry about right now. You know what I mean? But I realized too, like, because the lady on the phone was like, you have to get a towel on this. And he let go, and I directed him where the towel was, and he's telling me to move my hand, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen if I move my hand, right? Like, I'm just thinking, stop the bleeding. And I remember him saying, like, ma'am, he's not going to move his hand. He won't move his hand. And he's like, you got to get him to move his hand. You have to get a towel around it. Just putting pressure on it's not going to stop this. And I was like, he also said, because all I was telling her was like, I need an ambulance. There's a lot of blood. Not thinking, like, she doesn't know if someone tried to murder someone. Did I try to kill myself? Does she need to dispatch the police? You know what I mean? Like, I knew these things. It just wasn't, I mean, obvious reasons. It wasn't registering, right? So, but he was able to, I realized that, right? Probably from the training that I had. And I was just like, okay, let's do this 1, 2, 3. And boom, boom, towel. Our hands are back on it. And we're good to go. You know, well, for the time being, which is like another good thing that happened until the paramedics showed up. That it was just, I know it was the longest story ever, but it was another good thing that we had talked about that happened, that we're just grateful for, that happened, you know? And how good everyone did in the ambulance, and the doctors and the surgeons and stuff, and that, you know, I had even talked to my parents and my friend today on the phone. I was just like, you know, we moved because we used to be neighbors with my parents, and it was just so, like, stressful sometimes. I'm sure some of you guys probably know, you know, if you're my age or older or whatever, and you have parents, sometimes they drive you freaking crazy. And we didn't move, you know, across the country, but it was like, you know, we're lucky to just, you know, I knew what to do, my kid knew what to do, my neighbor knew what to do. We had good medical team around, or at least on clocked in that day. You know what I mean? What was the example? Oh, and I had family around. You know what I mean? As much as they drove me crazy, it's just like, dude, like, thank you. I mean, that could have been one extra thing that just, you know, made it not work, or made it that much harder. And I think, you know, I mentioned many times that I haven't felt, for all the depression and stuff that I went through, for something like this to happen, not 1 ounce. Before I went into my second surgery, I remember laying outside of my room on the bed or the stretcher or whatever they call it, and thinking like, man, how am I gonna do this album? I was on a roll with the Christmas EP. Like 2025 was supposed to be the year of Moose, man. Like what the hell am I gonna do now? You know, and I'm like, well, first of all, you're scared of shit of surgery. You already had one. You're gonna have to do another one. Let's get through this first. You know what I mean? And I got anxious at first. I was just like, oh man, like you've probably heard like horror stories like on TV or something about surgeries like not being completely knocked out or something. I'm like, what else am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? If it hurts and I'm aware of it, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Luckily, it's just like I'm talking to the surgeon. Next thing I know, I'm in my room and talking to the nurse. And they were kind of like, you know, they had like a security guard there because apparently men are like 90% times more likely to be aggressive when they wake up from anesthesia. Didn't know that. But I'm just like a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm just like waking up and making jokes, like, you know. Although my friend told me today, he was like, yeah, when they had to knock me out for my hip surgery, he was like, my wife still says, like, you know, right, the last thing you said, you didn't say, like, I love you or anything like that. You just said, make sure the surgeon tells me when I wake up that I'm more machine than man now. I was like, dang it, I missed that. But, anyways, there's just a lot of good things to be incredibly grateful for. And not that I wasn't, you know, you kind of, my point is like, you just miss all these things, you know, you forget about them. And, I mean, life happens, you know, I mean, I like my younger brother, he's really struggled with addiction and stuff, and he went through a rough start to his life. If he ever wants to share his story, I'll leave that up to him. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But he's been back. He did a lot of stuff, being on the run, in and out of jail, running from the cops. And, you know, he came back. He's, you know, paying off his stuff, his fines and stuff, and he's been sober. He made a budget. Like, the dude's, he's killing it right now, you know, and he was just like, man, I wish I would have started saving and stuff earlier, you know, and he asked me all the time for, like, you know, advice, and I'm just like, I tell him, like, this is what I did, this is what I did, it worked for me, you know, and I was like, you're in a good position right now, man, like, you have, like, not a lot of people have cheap rent, you have cheap rent, you know, you have a job, you don't have a license, but you have a job you can walk to, and all these things, you know. I was like, just take advantage of it. Like, all these dudes that you used to be friends with, they want to party, like, they're ruining their life, you know what I mean? And I get it, like, I used to love partying, going to house parties and stuff like that. Luckily, I was, you know, whatever you call it, I didn't have as much of an addictive personality or whatever. I know it's not like, I know I have friends that are nurses and stuff, and that doesn't make sense to you, but whatever the word is, you know. So he's doing good. I'm just like, man, I'm grateful for that. My older brother, some of the songs on this album, like the shorter, like quote unquote joke songs, are about him that I've been holding because I'm like, I don't want to stir up any shit, you know. And I was just like, you know what? The dude never wants to talk to me. He's mad at me because he was doing bad things to people, and I called him out for it, which honestly I would expect my brothers and sister to do too, to me, if I was doing it. And, you know, it pissed him off, and he hasn't talked to any of us for like 15 years. It would be 15 years this year in like September, October, something like that. So, you know, he crossed my mind, and I was like, you know, maybe I should reach out to him. But literally like a month ago, we were at my grandparents' house, and try and keep it short. That's a whole another thing. But my grandma, I mean, I'm 38 years old. Not a lot of people have any grandparents to talk to when they're 38, right? I know this. Most everyone in my family, I think, knows this. And she, my grandmother, also knows this. So after my grandfather passed, because there was always a lot of tension with them and family, she just pretty much, in my eyes, was just like, this is enough. Like, I want to see my family. And so we had gone up to visit her in the morning, and she's like, I just want to let you know your brother is coming up in the afternoon. So if you don't want to come, I understand. I said, no, you know what? I don't have a problem with him, Graham. He has a problem with me, but I know it stresses you out, so we'll just get out before he comes. Well, Lily was having a rough time, my daughter, and we didn't get out before he showed up. So he kind of made a big scene. And it upset me, and it upset my grandma, which made me more upset. And you know, there was a point when my uncle, years ago, before, you know, when there was still this beef going on, but before this whole story that I just told, he was circling the drain. He was very close to being a goner with liver failure. And I mean, I don't think it could have been any closer that he was able to get a donor. And he doesn't drink or anything like that. He's not an alcoholic or anything, so it was very surprising. It happened very quickly. A lot of us didn't understand what was happening. He doesn't live close by. So anyways, after he survived, we had gotten to talking, and he said, yeah, your brother never even reached out. So, and he hasn't reached out to me either. Which, you know, it's like, we're supposed to be brothers. And if you're really that mad because I called you out, oh, that's on you. And I think you guys would agree. Obviously, that's my side of the story, and there's always two sides of the story. But that just motivated me, honestly, with this whole thing. I don't want to say I'm going to be blunt. I feel like I was always pretty honest, and I try to be sensitive to how I say it, because I think I'm probably autistic, or I know a lot of people say that now. I've never gotten tested. I'm not going to, because it's, what does it matter if I know that if I am or not? A few people think I seem to have Asperger's, which every time I hear Asperger's, I think of the South Park episode. It just makes me laugh. But I try and I think it's a valuable thing to be honest with someone. But as you guys know too, I'm not really that big on opinions. So like, if you were like, hey, Moose, I trust you. What do you think of my song that I wrote? I'm not going to just come out and just say like, hey, your song is ass, if it's ass. If you were like, hey, what do you think? I would try and tell you in a constructive way. Does that make sense? Or whatever. Other than that, my opinion is, as you guys know, my opinion, it's just that. It's my opinion. And at the end of the day, it's like people have opinions about me that I used to take, I don't want to say take to heart. I like to learn. So if someone says like, you suck, I want to know why. Because I have another story. I don't know if I'll fit it in this vlog that I realized today. I'm talking to my wife because I woke up to some hate comments today. I realized it's not, I don't care what people think. I want to know to learn. Which I think, in my opinion, I mean, maybe I'm just really biased and tooting my own horn or something, but like, I think that's pretty admirable to like, if I suck as a singer, I want to know how to improve. I've worked a long, hard time, years, to become a good singer. And I still say to this day, I'm like, I'm mediocre. Some people hate my voice. I don't care if they hate my voice. There's people I was in bands with, they're just like, I don't like your voice. And I'm like, well, I'm the singer and you're not, so, you know what I mean? But then there's people who are just like, dude, your voice, I show people your stuff all the time. Your voice is amazing. And I'm like, I don't think it's amazing, but thank you. I'm glad you think so, because I do like to sing and write songs, so that works for both of us, you know? Point being, I don't care what he thinks. But I think I gave him more chance than I would anyone else because he's my brother. And it's kind of a bummer because, you know, he's the first reason I'm an uncle. So I missed out on, you know, 3 opportunities. But it's not my fault. You know, it's like even my cousin came in to the hardware store once when I was working, and they were working together for a while. And it's a cousin. I don't know if you guys have family that you kind of see every now and again, but you don't really. They're not at family functions or the same ones often. And so we kind of were catching up a little bit, and he's like, yeah, your brother, he doesn't like me either, or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, you know, he's, you know, I said some different words, but I was like, you know, I'm not very fond of his wife, and she's not fond of me, but I'm not fond of her because she's not fond of me, and the things that she's done to me that were incredibly evil. He was doing it because he thought it was funny. He still hangs out with my brother. And he went back and told him that. And this was right before I went to go visit my grandma, too. So I was just like, what is your problem? What is everybody's problem? like, do you want to punch me? Like, do you want to fight me? Is that what you want? Like, would that solve this? Because you don't want to talk like an adult. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to do? You know, it's like everyone says, you can't please everyone. So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, at point of telling all that, I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole. But I had thought about him. I was like, hey, I should reach out to him. Like, he doesn't want to reach out to me. And to be honest, I have these songs about him, and I'm releasing them. Like, I wrote them because of how I was feeling. And, well, that's what happens. I have songs about girls that I dated, and they're out there, and some of them are probably going to end up on the the throwback EP or throwback album when I do that, and you know, that's, you probably wanted to date a guy that was in a band because you thought it was cute, and now you're gonna have a song out there about you because how you treated me or how you broke up with me or whatever. So that's just how it goes, I guess, you know. But oh, I really like, I'm glad that you guys like these vlogs. I'm glad it's nice to just say it and get it out there. I don't know what the difference is about it being on camera and like posting it to the internet, because it seems so weird to me to do that. But like, I also watch people do the same thing. So I was talking to my friend, I think it was yesterday, and he was just like, we hadn't talked for, I think the last time we talked on the phone was a few months ago. And he was just like, dude, you know, I just called you, and I was like, I wanted to start talking to you about what happened, because it's like we talked already, but we didn't talk. I watch your vlogs. I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's for me, it's like a really good therapy. And it's really helped, like, me really see all my true friends. You know what I mean? It's been so good. It's just so much good has come out of it. Even me doing my vlog, like not being able to talk, and like, I remember I kept thinking like, this is stupid, like don't post this, you know what I mean? And it's just like, just doing that and seeing people reach out to me and being like, man, I kind of didn't realize how serious it was. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do? I mean, it's like, only true fucking friends do that. You know what I mean? So it's just another thing to be grateful for, I think, you know. And it's just, it's cool too, because I really started noticing it when I first started doing the vlogs after a few weeks, and with the Christmas EP, right? Because to me it was like, I'm by myself, I'm doing everything myself, and I'm putting it out to the world, because that's what I do. I make music, and then also in hopes that like I can just continue to do it, and not go back to the corporate world, so I can keep doing what I like. But after doing this, I'm hoping this makes sense. I feel like I'm bad with words, but it's like I wasn't putting it out to the world anymore. I was putting it out to my friends. You know, I mean, I even have a friend that I made at the hardware store. I don't think he watches these vlogs, but I get to talk to him fairly often, I'd say. And, you know, he was just like, he follows me on Instagram. He's just like, yeah, every time I see your stuff, I make sure I like it to help keep it in the feed and stuff. And I'm like, thanks, man. You know, I appreciate that. You know, I try and do this. He does his own art thing, or was. And I was like, when I see your stuff, I try to too. Honestly, I usually get on, post, and then get off, or I'll answer comments and messages and stuff. I try not to scroll, kind of like doom scroll, you know. But even him, he's just all metal. Like, that's all he likes, you know. I have a few friends like that. Friends that we became friends because they like my music, but like they're mostly into metal. And I'm like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? It's crazy. But anyways, he even said, like, now knowing that he's like a metalhead or whatever, he's like, yeah, man, I mean, it's your stuff is not my stuff, but I think you got what it takes, you know? So I hope you keep doing it. And I'm just like, thanks, man. That's crazy. And I think that goes hand in hand with like the random people I don't know that give me hate on the internet, because it's like, I realized I don't lose sleep over it. I want to learn. And I've been talking to a lot of people every day. So sorry, I'm always like, I talked to my friend today. I've talked to like 50 different people in the last 5 days. So non-doctors and stuff. So I was talking to a different friend today, and he told me about a quote from Jim Carrey. And he's like, I know Jim Carrey seems like he's kind of out there right now, but he was like, people suffering are never the problem. And I was like, oh man, people really lash out when they're suffering. It really changes it. And I think for me, I was like, oh, I want to know what they don't like, because one, I want to, if there's something I'm not seeing that I could be better at, I want to do that. But then I also, I just want to help them, man, you know? Like, I'll save this for another video, but a detailed version, but the hate comments I got today were all on different videos, and it was people saying like, your music, like, you're not punk. Your music's not punk. You're auditioning for Taylor Swift. You're all these negative things, right? Like, you're a part of the machine. Punk is not a part of the machine. You don't have enough angst to be punk, right? I've been hearing this my entire life. Like, not even just from this. Like, all the bands I've been in, I think we were probably mostly of like around the pop punk persuasion. I've been hearing it my whole life. I'm like, oh man, all these people have always said that to me. They were always like pissed off about something, probably personal stuff that's going on in their life. They lash out and like they don't like capitalist society and the machine and all that stuff. And I'm like, I wanted to answer all these people. I'm like, bro, like once I heard that, sorry, that quote from my friend, I was like, I just wanted to tell him, be like, dude, I don't like those things either. I know that you're saying punk is just fast everything, not caring if it sounds good, not caring if it's in tune, and just shouting for vocals. And just because I play a faster tempo and sing instead of like yell or scream like punk was in the 70s and stuff, you're saying that makes me not punk, but the machine has told you that I'm not punk. When I'm only saying this is a punk rock, like, what do you think of this punk rock version? Because you have, like, it has, like, that's the identity that was given to it by society, by the machine. I'm not your, you guys see what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to tell these people, I'm like, I'm not your enemy. We think the same. Just because you don't like the music I make, and I might not even like the music you make if that's what you do or what you listen to, it doesn't mean we can't be together. Like it's almost like arguing about, like right now everybody's arguing about like the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America, and it's like, guys, we have people getting denied healthcare coverage that they've never used before, that they've paid into their entire lives, tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. You taking the time out of your life to explain to me that pop punk, which I mean, I have songs that are pop punk, skate punk. There's a lot of subgenres of punk rock, right? But you taking the time out to tell me why I'm an idiot is not solving anything. It's a distraction. You've become a part of the machine. Like, I know I kind of have like my foil slash bandaged hat on, but like, does that make sense? So it's kind of helped me realize, like, I don't know if this is all summing together or not, but like all these things I've realized that I'm grateful for, and like because of what happened, and like I'm lucky to be alive, and I have all these like really good people as friends and family, and like I want, like, dude, like, are you, like, you're not good, like, come in, bro, like, bring it in, like we're friends. You know what I mean? Like, part of the reason, like, what I'm making videos to track the progress of the insurance stuff, which I'm probably gonna have another one tomorrow. It's to help people that I don't even know. You know what I'm not doing this to toot my own horn. I know this is just like, oh, look at you, Moose, you're such a great guy. That was upfront about that to begin with. I'm not saying like, hey, I'm gonna document this process. All you gotta do is just go to my website and make 4 easy payments of $49.99, and I'll show you my whole process. Maybe it can help you out if you're struggling with your insurance. Like, okay, yeah, I'm putting it on YouTube, and indirectly, maybe at some point when I get YouTube ad revenue, I might make a little bit of money from that. But it's not from you, it's not from anyone that is suffering, that needs that help. It's from people that are, you know, part of the machine. So I really hope this is all making sense. I'm trying to like sum it up, but I feel like it's just not making sense. And I think I was going to say I'm not going to go into much detail about the hater stuff, but I kind of did anyways, didn't I? So, but it feels good to get all that out, especially when I realize it, to put it into words, and then like knowing that like you guys are watching, and that it's like getting that feedback, you know? It's like, hey man, even when it's just like, dude, I agree with you, man. You know? I mean, it's like, dude, I have people tell me on a regular basis, like, dude, I wish I could buy a shirt or do something to like support you monetarily. Like, I want to see you succeed. Like, that's crazy. Like, people I don't know, that's crazy to me. Like, you're not crazy. It's just like, we don't know each other, and what I made touched you in a way that you want to see me succeed. And I just want to like not only do what I do, but I want to also hopefully be able to help you and those same people, you know? But those people that tell me like, I wish I could buy a shirt or something and I can't. And I'm like, dude, the whole goal is to like, I have them up there for people who want to support who can, and they do. And I appreciate that too. We're all in different positions in life. You know what I mean? So, dude, it's like, I don't care. I want to be able to get to a point where it's just like, so I can give you that. You know what I mean? Whether it's a shirt or it's experience of going through a life-threatening injury to help you, you know, win a, you know, get your paid what's paid for. Is this making sense? I hope it is. That's what I want to do. And, you know, unfortunately, I think I have bigger eyes than what's possible, where I feel like I could probably help more people than I can, but Guys, that's all I want to do. You know? That's all I want to do. I mean, it's like, what have we even gotten into, man? You know, like, I feel like it's very foil hat again, but it's just like, you know, I was told if you got a college degree, no matter what it was, you could get a good paying job, you'd be able to support your family. And, I mean, it wasn't even true, you know? And, I've just come to realize all I've ever wanted to do is just be happy and good at what I do and be able to support the people that I love doing that. You know what I mean? I feel like both of my grandfathers, they were very prideful of what they did, and they were prideful because they did a good job. And that's what I want to do, and it just seems so impossible these days. You know what I mean? And we're just forced to do so many things that we don't want to do that it's just like, it would drive anyone crazy. You know? I think I'm just going to leave it at that, because that's probably a whole video. And to the few of you who said you want to hear my opinions, I just realized that's probably what you're talking about. And we just hit 57 minutes. I don't think I have the energy to go into all that. I mean, the things that I've done for jobs, for no insurance, for hours and hours of my life to what? To hit record profits. I don't get a bonus, you know? It's like, and there were just people that were just so delusional and just sucked up into this system. Like the last company I worked for, we were a wholesaler for alarm equipment. And right before I got hired, they had just bought out another company selling pro audio equipment. And there was one lady there kind of running the show. And you know, in her defense, I'm not a good salesman. I'm honest. If you're going to buy a piece of crap, I'm not going to sell to you. I'm not going to upsell to you. I don't care how much commission I get. I don't care if it's residual commission. So I think she was trying to kind of like keep me away from that. But the stuff she said to me, not even knowing what I'm capable in the pro audio world, it's hilarious. And to think that like that's their person. They chose her over me. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? But my point is like, that's where we are in society. Like, who would be best to sell pro audio equipment? The random lady who doesn't even know how to copy and paste on a computer or use Microsoft Word? Or the guy who has a degree in music and a degree in recording and has built 3 studios, who knows how to soundproof rooms and tune them? 2 different things. You guys know, I say it all the time. I am nobody in that world. But that's who they chose. And they're profitable. What am I missing, guys? I don't know. But guys, I should end it. Wow, I went off everywhere. But it feels good to get all of that off my chest. It feels good to hear from you guys. And I don't know how else to express it. I mean, I say it to you guys all the time. I appreciate the support so much. Like, I mean, it's like I checked the back end of my Spotify today, right? And I've had a few hundred plays every day since the EP. I mean, it's up and down, but it's anywhere from like 1 to 300 plays. What the fuck? The guy who can't sell pro audio equipment. Oh man, I have a song about my manager too. I need to talk to my lawyer friend about that because I really just want to like really get as close to the line as possible without getting sued on that because it's not nice. Because when I called him a dick and left, I fucking meant it. But here's me, not punk. I'm for the man, right? Crazy. Guys, I love you. I'm so grateful. And man, if you're going through something too, reach out to me or someone or something. There's the future's going to be interesting. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better, you know, economically and politically. You guys know I don't really get swayed either way politically. I think politics are all a hot heaping pile of wet garbage. But me knowing that I have support from people like you makes me feel so much better. And I'm not a celebrity. I hope I painted a pretty good picture of how I feel and the type of person I am. So if I can help you, I mean, let me know. Even if I can just write a song about it or something. I don't know what I'll do with one hand. Maybe I'll make a dubstep song. I don't know. Figure out a way. You know, that happened to me once. When I first started doing the covers, the second one I ever did, I think it was Come and Get Your Love, a lady had messaged me. My Facebook was like my most popular account at the time. It was the one that was popping the most. And a lady had messaged me and she was like, you know, my daughter is nonverbal autistic and she has really, really bad days. And she acts out, and it's hard to really find a common ground to balance out her emotions or whatever. And she was having a terrible day, and I had to step away. And she was kind of just freaking out in the other room, and I just started scrolling, and I came across your video. And she heard it, and she has not stopped replaying it for days. I will never forget that. That's what I'm trying to do. So, yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate the support. All the links of stuff are in the bio. You guys know that. I have some ideas too for the album. I'm excited about it. So I'll update you as soon as I kind of iron out the details in my head. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.